Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Atlanta Fed's GDPNow climbs to 26.2% for Q3 after US data. ntvforex.com news ID 033F0 5 minutes ago by Aaron Seng-Ezer. The real gross domestic product GDP in the NBSP United States NBSP is expected to grow by 26.2%, up sharply from 20.5% on August 7. In the third quarter of 2020, the NBSP Federal Reserve Bank (NBSP) of Atlanta's latest GDPNow report showed on Friday. After this week's data releases by the U.S. NBSP Bureau of Labor Statistics, the U.S. NBSP Department of the Treasury's Bureau of the Fiscal Service, the Federal Reserve Board of Governors, and the U.S. NBSP Census Bureau, the nocasts of third-quarter real personal consumption expenditures growth and third-quarter real gross private domestic investment growth increased from 21.9% and 9.5%, respectively, to 27.8% and 19.7%, respectively, and the nocast of third-quarter real government spending growth increased from 14.0% to 14.3%, the Atlanta Fed explained in its publication. Market reaction: the US dollar index paid little to no mind to this report and was last seen losing 0.14% on the day at 93.11. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. USD MXN at 2 weeks lows, about to break below 22.00. http ntvforex.com news ID C70ABA 4 minutes ago by Mata as soared Mexican peso among top performers on Friday after Banxico meeting. USD MXN weakens further during the American session as Wall Street turns positive. The USD MXN is trading at the lowest level in 2 weeks at the 22.00 area. It is NBSP falling for the fourth consecutive day as the Mexican peso outperforms on Friday following a rate cut from Banxico. An improvement in risk sentiment in Wall Street, where the Dow Jones is now in positive territory up 0.20%, adds to weakness in USD MXN. The pair seems poised to break under 22.00. The next support level is seen at 21.90 and then, the next strong barrier emerges at the 21.50 zone. Only a reversal in USD MXN, with the dollar recovering levels above 22.30 would alleviate the bearish pressure. Above the next resistance is located at 22.60. Banxico cuts rates, will likely continue to do on Thursday, as expected. The Bank of Mexico cut the key interest rate by 50 basis points to 4.5%. One board member asked for a 25 bps cut. Analysts at BBVA point out the board brushed aside the recent inflation rise and clearly signaled that inflation is not a worry for monetary policymakers. The dovish statement, along with a deep recession and a widening output gap, clearly suggests further monetary policy easing, noted BBVA analyst. They continue to expect a further 150 BP of rate cuts in the easing cycle that started a year ago, taking the policy rate to 3.00% by year. We are sticking with our call of 50 BP cuts in the policy rate in each of the 3 remaining scheduled meetings in 2020. More levels. USD MXN overview today. Last price 22.0116 today. Daily change 0.1620 today. Daily change percent 0.73 today. Daily open 22.1736. NBSP trends daily. SMA 20 22.3297 daily. SMA 50 22.4147 daily. SMA 100 23.0378 daily. SMA 200 21.3164 NBSP levels. Previous daily high 22.3934. Previous daily low 22.1362. Previous weekly high 22.9106. Previous weekly low 22.2477. Previous monthly high 23.0953 previous monthly low 21.8473 daily Fibonacci 38.2% 22.2345 daily Fibonacci 61.8% 22.2952 daily pivot point S1 22.0754 daily pivot point S2 21.9773 daily pivot point S3 21.8183 daily pivot point R1 22.3326 daily pivot point R2 22.4916 daily pivot point R3 22.5897 nbsp. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. China growth recovery extended but demand side still lagged. A BBVA at ntvforex.com news ID 2F679 a 4 minutes ago by Mata as Salord on Friday. Key economic data was released in China. Economic activity indicators of July including industrial production, fixed asset investment and retail sales all pointed that growth recovery extended in the second half of the year, noted analysts at BBVA. However, they warn the demand side still lagged behind the supply side. Key quotes NBSP economic activity indicators of July maintained recovery momentum, indicating the post-COVID recovery extended in 2H. The unbalanced recovery, that demand side lagged behind the supply side also exists in July, but it improves from the 1H. The better-than-expected recovery makes the LBOC plan to gradually normalize monetary policy in 2H, however, the monetary policy normalization does not necessarily mean the tightening cycle starts. We expect an unbalanced recovery to continue in the following months and the economy still needs time to go back to the prior COVID level. The sustainable recovery of Chinese economy in 2H depends on to what extent the authorities' monetary and fiscal easing measures could stimulate the domestic demand. We maintain our prediction that the GDP growth rate will steadily climb up to 5% YY in Q3 and 6% YY in Q4, concluding 2020 with a full-year growth outturn of 2.2% higher than the IMF's 1% forecast while generally in line with the market consensus, making China be one of the few countries or regions in the world achieving positive growth in 2020. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. EUR/USD Turkey and changing COVID risks could trigger a deeper correction. nbsp MUFG http://ntvforex.com news ID DB3D973 3 minutes ago by Mata as Salord. Analysts at MUFG Bank keep a trading idea of shorting the EUR/USD pair with a target at 1.1600 and a stop loss at January 1950. They consider that the situation in Turkey and changing dynamics regarding the coronavirus could trigger a deeper correction lower. NBSP key quotes it is short-term tactical trade to reflect the increasing risk of a correction lower for the pair in the near term. EUR/USD has surged higher by almost 7% since June. It resulted in the USD becoming heavily oversold, thereby increasing the risk of a correction lower. Over the past week, EUR/USD fell back towards 1.1700 after hitting a high of January 1916 on August 6. We still believe the pair could stage a deeper correction if support at 1.1700 is broken. The sharpening sell-off in the Turkish lira in recent weeks could provide the catalyst to trigger a correction lower for the euro. The euro underperformed during the lira currency crisis in 2018, which highlights downside risks going forward if history is repeated. At the same time, there is building concern over the renewed spread of COVID-19 in Europe, which could take some shine away from the euro. We remain wary though of the risk that the USD could weaken further ahead of Jackson Hole at the end of this month, so have set a tight stop at just above recent highs. NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, Text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Mexico Banxico strikes again a remarkably and warranted dovish tone. A BBVA at ntvforex.com news ID 4080FB 4 minutes ago by Mata as Salord on Thursday, the Bank of Mexico, as expected, cut the monetary policy rate by 50 basis points to 4.5%. According to the research department at BBVA, Banxico's notably dovish tone alongside a widening negative output gap backdrop points to further interest rate cuts. They continue to expect a further 150 BP of cuts, taking the policy rate to 3.00% by year-end. Key quotes nbsp: a more easing is the most likely scenario, and in our view Banxico will not find reasons to slow the easing pace in the coming meetings. Albeit it is true that headline inflation will accelerate somewhat more to 3.8–3.9% in Aug-Sep, core inflation will likely resume its downward trend as early as August. Moreover, a headline rate close to 4.0% should not be a concern given that it would be driven by a base effect considering the unusual 0.02% MUFG headline inflation print in August 2019. We agree with Banxico in that inflation, both headline and core, will hover around 3% in a 12 to 24 month horizon. We are sticking with our call of 3 additional 50 BP rate cuts in 2020, but the risk is that Banxico could slow down the easing cycle if there is a negative surprise in core inflation between now and the next scheduled monetary policy meeting September 24. As long as the peso continues to hold up our baseline scenario, Banxico will likely continue to ease its monetary policy stance. The deepest recession on record alongside a favorable context for inflation going forward warrants additional easing, at least until the real policy ex-post policy rate is close to 0.0%. We continue to expect a further 150 BP of rate cuts in the easing cycle, taking the policy rate to 3.00% by year-end. I.e., we are sticking with our call of 50 BP cuts in the policy rate in each of the 3 remaining scheduled meetings in 2020. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. USD ZAR seen moving higher linked to negative developments in Turkey. MUFG http://ntvforex.com news ID C2AFD 1 minutes ago by Mata as Salord. Analysts at MUFG Bank point out the South African Rand ZAR has become more closely linked to the performance of the Turkish lira, providing in a proxy. They maintain a long USD ZAR trade idea with a target at 18.400. Key quotes: the ZAR has become more tightly linked to negative developments in Turkey, and we prefer to use it as a proxy for short TRY exposure. We expect the TRY to remain under downward pressure and view relative stability over the past week as unsustainable. The stealth monetary tightening by restricting access to funding is unlikely to be sufficient to stabilize the TRY. The main risk to the trade idea is that the ZAR has already moved a long way since late last month. It increases the risk of a short-term squeeze of long positions. One potential downside trigger would be if the CBOT acted decisively and raised rates significantly to offer more support for the TRY. An extension of broad-based USD weakness would also work against the trade idea. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. S&amp 500 top movers. DXC Technology Co. DXC gains more than 4% as top performer. ntvforex.com news ID BE24643 3 minutes ago by Aaron Sengezer. S&amp 500 index stays little changed in Friday's quiet market action. DXC Technology Co. DXC shares rise after company filed for debt shelf. Sempra Energy SRE loses more than 2% as the biggest decliner. Wall Street's main indexes trade little changed in choppy Friday trade, and the S&P 500 index was last seen gaining 0.05% on a daily basis at 3,375. Earlier in the day, the data from the U.S. showed that retail sales in July rose less than expected, but industrial production continued to expand, and the University of Michigan's Consumer Confidence Index improved slightly in August. Nevertheless, investors don't seem to be willing to take large positions ahead of the weekend. S&P 500 top movers DXC Technology Co. DXC on Friday announced that it has filed nbsp for debt shelf but did not disclose nbsp the size. Following this development, DXC gained traction and was last seen up 4.1% on the day at $20.45 as the biggest gainer. NBSP Applied Materials Inc. AMAT and Cabot Oil Amp Gas Corp. COG shares are both up around 3.6% as the other noteworthy winners of the day. On the other hand, NBSP Sempra Energy SRE and NBSP Alumina Inc. ILMN shares are down 2.5% and 2%, respectively, to lead the decliners. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Midday market update: Dow turns higher, Mesoblast shares surge. Analysis http://ntvforex.com. News ID B8D4A7814 35:50 p.m. Midway through trading Friday, the Dow traded up 0.22% to 27,958.51, while the Nasdaq fell 0.29% to 11,010.63. The S&P also rose, gaining 0.05% to 3,375.12. The U.S. has the highest number of coronavirus cases and deaths in the world, reporting a total of 5,254,870 cases with around 167,250 deaths. Brazil confirmed a total of over 3,224,870 COVID-19 cases with 105,460 deaths, while India reported a total of at least 2,461,190 confirmed cases and 48,040 deaths. In total, there were at least 20,945,980 cases of COVID-19 worldwide with over 760,020 deaths, according to data compiled by Johns Hopkins University. Leading and lagging sectors: industrials shares gained 0.8% on Friday. Meanwhile, top gainers in the sector included NBSP Textainer Group Holdings Limited NBSP TGH 16.1%, up 16%, and NBSP Scorpio Bulkers Incorporated NBSP Salt 6.69%, up 8%. In trading on Friday, utilities shares fell by 0.8%. Top headline on Thursday: NBSP Applied Materials Inc. NBSP AMAT 4.41%. NBSP reported stronger than expected results for its third quarter and also issued an upbeat forecast for the current quarter. Earnings per share came in at $1.06, which beat the estimate of 95 cents. The company posted revenue of $4.40 billion, exceeding expectations of $4.18 billion. Applied Materials said it expects Q4 adjusted EPS of $1.11 to $1.23, versus analysts' expectations of $1.02. The company projects sales of $4.60 billion versus estimates of $4.36 billion. Equities trading up: Taiwan Liposome Company Limited NBSP TLC 29.61%. NBSP shares shot up 33% to $6.79 following earlier press release highlighting submission of investigational new drug application for TLC-19 inhalable liposomal hydroxychloroquine for coronavirus infection. Shares of NBSP Mesoblast Limited NBSP Nasdaq Meso NBSP got a boost, shooting 57% to $18.49 after the company said FDA's Oncologic Drugs Advisory Committee voted overwhelmingly in favor that the available data support the efficacy of remestemcel-L in pediatric patients with steroid-refractory acute graft-versus-host disease. Altisource Asset Management Corporation NBSP AAMC 14.53% NBSP shares were also up, gaining 24% to $17.52 after reporting Q2 earnings. The company also announced an agreement to terminate the asset management agreement between AAMC and Front Yard Residential Corporation. Equities trading down: Flux Power Holdings, Inc. NBSP Flux 45.32% NBSP shares tumbled 45% to $4.37 after the company reported pricing of $10.8 million public offering. Shares of NBSP Hexine Day Incorporated NBSP HX 50.6% NBSP were down 48% to $1.30. Hexine Day shares jumped around 294% on Thursday after the company announced it launched an upgraded version of its social e-commerce platform Zio by Maymai. Paysign, Inc. NBSP pays 26.06% NBSP was down, falling 27% to $7.60 after the company reported worse than expected Q2 results. Commodities. In commodity news, oil traded down 0.3% to $42.11, while gold traded down 1.1% to $1,948.20. Silver traded down 4% Friday to $26.605, while copper rose 1.8% to $2.858. Eurozone European shares were lower today. The Eurozone STOXX 600 fell 1.2%, the Spanish IBEX index fell 1.33%, while Italy's FTSE MIB index declined 1.13%. Meanwhile, the German DAX 30 declined 0.71%, French CAC 40 fell 1.58% and UK shares fell 1.55%. Economics: US retail sales rose 1.2% in July, versus a revised 8.4% surge in June. Labor productivity increased by an annualized 7.3% in the second quarter, while unit labor costs rose an annualized 12.2%. U.S. industrial production increased 3.0% in July, following a 5.7% rise in June. U.S. business inventories declined 1.1% in June after declining 2.3% in May. The University of Michigan's Consumer Sentiment Index rose slightly to 72.8 in August versus a reading of 72.5 in the prior month. The Baker Hughes North American Rig Count report for the recent week is scheduled for release at 1:00 p.m. ET. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. WTI looks to settle below $42 after Baker Hughes day. NTVForex.com News ID 72BD 92 minutes ago by Aaron Sengezer. WTI falls for the second straight day on Friday. U.S. NBSP drillers cut oil and gas rigs to record low for 15th week. China has reportedly ramped up its U.S. oil purchases. Crude oil prices remained on the back foot on Friday and the barrel of West Texas Intermediate WTI was last seen losing 1.2% on the day at $41.80. Despite the two-day slump, the WTI remains on track to close the second straight week in the positive territory. U.S. data fails to help WTI rebound during the Asian session on Friday, uninspiring. The data from China, the world's second biggest oil consumer, revived concerns over a weak demand outlook weighed on crude oil prices. Retail sales in China contracted by 1.1% on a yearly basis in July and industrial production expanded by 4.8% annually. NBSP to miss the market expectation of 5.1%. Later in the day, the weekly report published by Baker Hughes Energy Services showed that the U.S. driller cut oil and gas rigs to a recovered low for the 15th week. The total number of active oil rigs in the U.S. currently stands at 172. Meanwhile, citing sources familiar with the matter, Reuters reported on Friday that China has ramped up its U.S. oil purchases ahead of the U.S.-China assessment of the Phase 1 trade deal. Chinese state oil firms tentatively booked tankers to ship at least 20 million barrels of U.S. nbsp crude in August and September, Reuters wrote. Nevertheless, this headline had little to no impact on crude oil prices ahead of the weekend. Technical levels to watch for WTI overview today: last price 42.18, today daily change 0.41, today daily change percent 0.96, today daily open 42.59, nbsp trends daily SMA 2041.55, daily SMA 5040.25, daily SMA 10033.52, daily SMA 20043.04, nbsp levels: previous daily high 43.08, previous daily low 42.34, previous weekly high 43.62, previous weekly low 39.75, previous monthly high 42.52, previous monthly low 38.73, daily Fibonacci 38.2%, 42.62, daily Fibonacci 61.8%, 42.8, daily pivot point S1 42.26, daily pivot point S2 41.94, daily pivot point S3 41.53, daily pivot point R1 43, daily pivot point R2 43.4, daily pivot point R3 43.73, nbsp. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. FOMC minutes to provide details on policy review discussions. ATD Securities ntvforex.com news ID 4432A06 minutes ago by Aaron Sengezzer previewing next week's key macroeconomic events in the U.S., which includes nbsp. The FOMC's July meeting minutes. At the July FOMC meeting, the committee did not initiate any new policy actions and changes to the statement were minor, TD Securities analysts noted. Key quotes: while the Fed chairman did not provide any major details on the review or forward guidance, he did suggest that the review will wrap UPA in the near future. We expect the minutes to provide additional color on how those discussions are evolving. The Democratic National Convention will kick off the 2020 presidential election season, with the party officially selecting Joe Biden and Kamala Harris as its nominees for president and vice president. Andrew Cuomo, Bill Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, and Barack Obama will be among the keynote speakers during the four-day event. The Republican convention will follow on 24 August 27. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Monetary distortions AMP price signals analysis http://ntvforex.com news ID BC41CF 8/14/2026 17:12 p.m. What happens when markets are unable to determine the value of money in a world where land, labor and capital are all being measured in terms of severely distorted fiat currencies? There is a much greater risk to investors and business owners alike. The concept of a valuea is being replaced by government-induced liquidity, and free markets risk being unable to naturally flush out a toxicity in the system moving forward. First, it helps to identify which variables may be impacting currency exchange rates, as well as the macroeconomic environment in general. I have attached my exchange rate table below, which includes many narrative influencing variables in the FX markets. I will note that all fundamental elements of exchange rate pricing now carry a higher than usual risk of volatility in the coming months, years, and perhaps even decade. The list is by no means comprehensive, but I hope you get the point. The result: higher volatility. The real danger we face today is the reduced ability for markets to value financial assets in terms of fiat currency. Wild narrative fluctuations could erode the utility of classical data sets in many markets, and limit participants' ability to measure intrinsic value. The chance of sudden volatility events will be heightened as a result. Productivity will be reduced if businesses need to spend more time and energy grappling with issues that are only present due to excessive and expanding monetary interventions from central planning authorities. Economic data and more complex models are often used to help investors and businesses gain an edge, the essence of 21st century productivity. With the severe dislocation between the financialized economy and real economy, emotions such as fear, greed, and complacency are likely to remain entrenched in markets moving forward. Logical and productive business decisions may be overturned simply due to the influence of government policy guidance, sentiment, or just about any narrative strong enough to dominate international news feeds. The point is, as long as governmental and central banking officials hold such a tight grip on markets, price signals are bound to be distorted severely. Their policies are likely to force a greater amount of resources to be wasted on unproductive ventures. We can logically conclude that the law of diminishing returns takes hold of our overly indebted global economy. The more central planning intervention, the less economic output will be gained by each dollar of investment capital. This is a system that eats itself and perpetuated inequalities of all sorts. To survive the volatile times ahead, one must be acutely aware of the foundational macroeconomic principles of inflation, growth, and employment. A deep dive into the potential future impacts of inflation is required to further understand the path forward, but this is a topic for another day. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Crude oil is going to have quite a volatile third quarter analysis. http://ntvforex.com News ID 785B318142025 07:52 p.m. The price of crude oil has been trading in a narrow range over the NBSP past several weeks, ever since the energy market started stabilizing following the NBSP OPEC deal (NBSP) for the reduction of aggregate production. But even with the oil price war between Saudi Arabia and Russia now being a thing of the past, the next several months look like they are going to be quite turbulent for the precious commodity. Firstly, the resurgence of COVID-19 cases globally underlines the real possibility of a NBSP second pandemic wave (NBSP) this fall, which could lead to a new series of lockdowns internationally. As a consequence of such restrictive policies, weakened global demand is quite likely to plummet once again, similarly to what happened in February and March. Muted global demand is not only bad news for the tentative recovery, but it would also jeopardize the energy market. With low levels of economic activity, the price of crude is likely to start falling once again, even if there are no supply gluts this time. Meanwhile, the NBSP escalating tensions (NBSP) between Greece and Turkey in the Aegean over disputed territory off the coast of a Greek island, poses the very real danger of a new armed conflict in the Mediterranean. Such a regional dispute could quickly evolve into a multinational conflict, which, in turn, could impede trade in the region. Such a turn of events would undoubtedly affect the price of oil as well, due to the fact that clashes in the Aegean could impede all economic interactions in the Mediterranean sector. The energy market still hasn't started pricing in such turn of events, however, this represents one more reason to analyze the current state of crude oil, which could shed light on its potential future development if the underlying conditions change. One long-term outlook, as can be seen on the daily chart below. The price of US oil has been consolidating around the 61.8% Fibonacci retracement level at 40.60 since early June. The ostensibly range trading conditions are confirmed by the ADX indicator, which has been threading below the 25-point benchmark since the 21st of May. Moreover, the indicator has been threading below the 20-point mark since the 10th of July. All of this is demonstrative of the very contained price action A, contained as in very narrow range A, because of which, no sudden changes in the underlying direction of the price action are expected at the present rate. Meanwhile, the stochastic RSI indicator is nearing the overbought extreme, which in itself could incite the bears to step up and place more selling orders. Such actions would be justified, given the aforementioned range trading conditions. Bears and bulls alike recognize that given the underlying market sentiment, the price action is more than likely to fluctuate between the two extremes. In other words, the longer the RSI threads in the overbought extreme, the likelier it becomes for a new reversal. The first logical target level is encapsulated by the 61.8% Fibonacci itself. However, if a second coronavirus wave does indeed diminish the aggregate demand globally, then the next target level would be the major support at 30.00, which has psychological significance due to the three zeros. Conversely, if an unexpected escalation of tensions in the Aegean causes the price of crude to surge on investors' fears over the global supply chains, then the precious commodity could rally towards the next psychological resistance at 50.00. To short-term outlook: recently, the price of crude has been consolidating between the minor resistance level at 42.50 and the ascending trend line. The latter was established from the two most recent pivot lows, at 41.05 and 41.47 respectively. A breakout above the resistance or breakdown below the trend line would be demonstrative of the price action's next likely direction over the short run. Meanwhile, the price action is trading below the 10-day EMA, which is illustrative of rising bearish bias in the market. This is further confirmed by the waning bullish momentum, as demonstrated by the MACD indicator. Another piece of evidence of the rapidly rising bearish outlook of the market in the short term can be ascertained from the hourly chart below. As can be seen, over the last several hours, the price action rebounded from the 10-day MA in red, which is currently trading below the 30-day MA in green. The latter is positioned below the 50-day MA in blue. This descending order of the four is manifesting strong bearish sentiment, which could result in the establishment of a sizable downswing. For as long as this relationship is maintained, the market bears could expect to see at least one probing attempt of the price action at breaking down below the most recent swing low, and potentially heading towards the 61.8% Fibonacci afterwards. 3 concluding remarks: as regards the long run, crude's price is going to be affected mostly by the way the pandemic develops next. If governments opt to reintroduce stricter containment measures in a bid to ward off the prospects of a second coronavirus wave, then crude oil is likely to tumble as global demand starts to wane once again. Conversely, escalation of the tensions between Turkey and Greece could have the opposite effect if investors perceive one such conflict as posing a significant threat to the regional supply chains. As regards the short run, there are mounting pieces of evidence signaling the rising bearish sentiment, as the market continues to consolidate in a tight range. This means that the price of crude could fall to the 61.8% Fibonacci retracement level one more time next week. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Rising inflation fears transform precious metals demand analysis. http://ntvforex.com. News ID 352338 8/14/2026 39:31 p.m. As Joe Biden announced his VP pick, Wall Street's hopes for a V-shaped economic recovery were revived by falling jobless claims and the S&P 500 inching closer to an all-time high. Precious metals markets, meanwhile, were hit with a big V for volatility. NBSP this past Tuesday, NBSP gold prices. NBSP plunged by more than $100 in one of the biggest down moves ever for the precious metal in terms of nominal dollars. Of course, that move came off an historically high level of more than $2,000 an ounce. As gold prices rise over time and we see nothing to suggest that they have topped out here long term, we can expect to see more $100 daily price swings. 100-point moves in the Dow Jones Industrials used to be rare but are now commonplace as the blue chip average trades near 28,000. NBSP. Just as the Nasdaq tends to be more volatile than the Dow, silver trades with greater volatility than gold. The white metal got absolutely slammed on Tuesday for a trading loss of more than 15% or well over $4 an ounce. Prices turned around and surged on Thursday to recoup a big portion of those earlier losses. NBSP investors will be focusing more closely on the upcoming election now that Democrats have put forth their presidential ticket. Former Vice President Joe Biden tapped California Senator Kamala Harris to be his running mate. In response, President Trump called into Fox Business yesterday to slam both Biden and Harris as a big taxer who would cause markets to crash. Donald Trump: she is a big taxer, as Joe is a big taxer. They want to tax $4 trillion. It's going to be the biggest tax increase in history by far. It will triple up records, and they're big taxes. It's just something that won't work. You will see a depression the likes of which you have never seen. Everyone knows that if Biden gets in, this market is going to crash. He is going to build regulations and he is going to tax people $4 trillion. There is no denying that the stock market performed well after Trump was elected. Despite selling off hard in March because of the virus lockdown hysteria that wiped out many of the president's economic achievements, Wall Street is now riding high again. NBSP: but in recent weeks NBSP gold and silver NBSP have been riding even higher. Trillions in emergency fiscal and monetary stimulus programs are raising inflation fears as they boost asset values and reinforce the need for investors to diversify into precious metals. NBSP bullion buying has gone through the roof ever since the authorities in Washington decided to try to paper over real economic declines with phony fiat stimulus. It has been quite a dramatic change in character for gold and silver markets, which had been lackluster to say the least during the first 3 years of Donald Trump's presidency. If Trump gets re-elected, bullion buying could at least temporarily experience a bit of a setback. The types of investors who are most apt to buy gold and NBSP silver coins NBSP to protect themselves from risks also tend to perceive political risk as being lower during Republican administrations. As we've seen, though, risks to the economy and the value of the US dollar have accelerated dramatically despite Trump remaining in the White House. Gold has hit a record high under Trump and we don't see a Trump win in November killing the longer-term gold bull market. NBSP: in fact, neither Trump nor Biden have any workable plans to close the exploding budget deficit or stop the Federal Reserve from embarking on a deliberate campaign to raise inflation rates. NBSP: inflation is the only bipartisan path forward in Washington. Despite their public bickering over taxes and handout programs, both Republicans and Democrats, with a few rare exceptions, are in fundamental agreement when it comes to monetary policy. NBSP: the election results won't change the Fed's current course of pursuing negative real interest rates and unlimited quantitative easing. In this environment, investors would be wise to keep their focus on the big picture of currency depreciation and its ramifications rather than politics. NBSP elections have consequences, of course. But we don't foresee the end of the precious metals bull market being one of them. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. After strong initial rebound, momentum is slowing. Analysis http://ntvforex.com News ID 10FEF68142027 14:56 p.m. U.S. Review. After strong initial rebound, momentum is slowing. The economic recovery continued into July, though the pace is slowing. The consumer has been a bright spot in the recovery so far, but with jobless benefits in flux and no clear path for the long-awaited stimulus bill, the support here could fade. Consumer prices picked up in July, but weak demand will likely keep a lid on inflation in coming months. While retail sales are back above their pre-virus peak, consumer caution was evident in the July data. Initial claims for unemployment came in below 1 million last week for the first time in 20 weeks. This is a marked improvement, but unemployment remains strikingly high. Global review: global recovery persists. Pace moderates after a challenging start to 2020. Economies around the world are turning the corner, albeit at varying speeds. Eurozone June industrial output showed a large monthly increase, similar to a large gain in retail sales, but Q2 employment fell sharply. In China, July industrial output growth was steady while the fall in retail sales lessened. Some economic regions are lagging. UK Q2 GDP fell more than 20% quarter-over-quarter, although activity started to improve by the end of Q2. Similarly, the rebound in activity in Mexico and Brazil remains relatively gradual so far. Download the full report. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Cryptocurrency market news. The Justice Department has seized over $2 million in crypto from terrorist group nbsp. News ID 97BB581 minutes ago. Here is what you need to know on Saturday 15 August. BTC USD remains quite flat as it approaches $12,000, a crucial resistance level that if broken, would take Bitcoin close to $12,300 almost instantly. ETH/USD had a massive breakout above $400 and has hit $445 for the first time since July 2018. nbsp XRP/USD finally woke up with a breakout above 30 cents, currently trading at $0.306 and eyeing up 33 cents. nbsp AirSwap is the biggest winner today with a 65% price surge and a 225% value increase over the last 7 days. MXC and Gnosis are numbers 2 and 3 both with a 30% jump. nbsp chart of the day. ETH/USD daily chart market. According to a report by CNN, the Justice Department has seized around $2 million worth of cryptocurrencies from terrorist groups in the Middle East. nbsp $2 million is a lot of equipment that they can buy, a lot of weapons, a lot of training that they can fund, a lot of tickets to fly people around the world, said John Demers, the Assistant Attorney General in charge of the Justice Department's National Security Division. This is going to make a big difference in their operation. In fact, a paper published this week states that the number of manipulation cases in the crypto market has significantly surged over the past 7 months. nbsp we show that cryptocurrency markets are plagued by pump and dump manipulation, with at least 355 cases in 7 months. Unlike stock market manipulators, cryptocurrency manipulators openly declare their intentions to pump specific coins, rather than trying to deceive investors. Puzzlingly, people join in despite negative expected returns. In a simple framework, we demonstrate how overconfidence and gambling preferences can explain participation in these schemes, and find strong empirical support for both mechanisms. Industry. A new cryptocurrency exchange named GDPNow is enabling users to enter the Forex, indices, and commodities markets through cryptocurrencies. According to the announcement, customers can leverage their Bitcoin by up to 100 times to trade not only Bitcoin itself but also the instruments mentioned above. nbsp Sonocoin, the first Swiss blockchain, has announced a major upgrade to the software and functionalities of the platform. The update will include a better blockchain throughput, smart contracts, escrow accounts, and a better wallet. Quote of the day: the governments of the world have spent hundreds and hundreds of trillions of dollars bailing out a decaying, Dickensian, outmoded system called banking when the solution to the future of finance is peer-to-peer. ETH's going to be alternative currencies like Bitcoin, and ETH's not actually going to be a banking system as we had before 2008. nbsp A. Patrick Young, nbsp. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. U.S. retail sales rise for a third straight month. Q2 GDP estimate jumps. Analysis. http://ntvforex.com. News ID B65D90814 2028 28:28 p.m. Sales in July gain 1.2%, less than the 1.9% consensus estimate. Control group consumption component adds 1.4%, beating 0.8% forecast. Sales in June revised higher in all three categories. Dollar fades slightly, equities flat, Treasury yields higher on the week. NBSP American consumers pulled back on spending after 2 torrid months as deferred auto sales subsided, but overall consumption reached a record, overtaking the lockdown plunge in March and April. Retail sales rose 1.2% in July, missing the 1.9% forecast from the Reuters survey of economists. NBSP purchases excluding automobiles rose 1.9%, beating the 1.3% estimate, and the A control group, the consumption entry in the Bureau of Economic Analysis a GDP calculation, was 1.4%, nearly double the 0.8% prediction. Retail sales. NTV Forex worker productivity, a key component of wage increases, rose 7.3% in July, its highest pace in 11 years and far ahead of its 1.5% forecast. The third straight month of sales increases brought the total to 27.8%, easily surpassing the 22.9% decline in March and April. NBSP. The overall volume of sales climbed to a new record, NBSP resuming the strong growth trajectory that has held since the end of the financial crisis recession in June 2009. Sales in June were revised up to 8.4% in July from 7.5%, sales ex autos added 1% to 8.3%, and the control group rose to 6% from 5.6%. Retail sales in the shutdowns under normal conditions. July's 1.2% retail expansion would be considered an excellent sign for an economy that gets about 70% of its growth from consumer spending. NBSP. When the 22.9% plunge in receipts in March and April is subtracted from the 27.8% increase in the next 3 months, it leaves an average spending gain of 1.63% in May, June, and July. NBSP. This bodes well for hiring in August after July's 1.763 million increase in non-farm payrolls that was 10% over forecast, but just 1/3 of June's 4.8 million addition. Unemployment fell to 10.2% in July from 11.1% in June, but it is a long way from the near-record 3.5% in the months before the pandemic, and 28.3 million people were still collecting some form of public unemployment benefits in mid-July. GDP and U.S. growth. The latest Q3 GDP estimate from the Atlanta Fed's GDPNow model was jumped to 26.5% annualized after the retail release. NBSP. The U.S. economy contracted at a 32.9% annual rate in the second quarter, the deepest fall on record as COVID lockdown shuttered most activity. Another positive sign for the U.S. economy is that initial claims for jobless benefits fell to 0.963 million in the first week of August, the lowest of the pandemic era. Initial jobless claims. NTV Forex NBSP. It was the 10% rise in claims, from 1.307 million to 1.435 million in the second and third weeks of July as COVID exposure cases rose in several western and southern states, that prompted the sell-off in the dollar on the assumption that the U.S. recovery might be seriously undermined. NBSP. That concern seems to have been allayed with the sales figures confirming the improving outlook from payrolls and claims. One caveat to the economic situation is the inability of Congress to agree on an extension of benefits for those thrown out of work by the pandemic shutdowns. NBSP. In lieu of the congressional appropriation, President Trump has signed 4 executive orders intended to keep the benefits flowing past the expiration of the current programs. Market response. The dollar was slightly lower after Friday's market action, with the euro finishing at 1.1838 after starting at 1.181 and the USD JPY closing at 106.60 after opening at 106.93. Equities were mixed, with the Dow gaining 34.30 points to 27,931.02 and the S&amp 500 losing 0.58 points to 3,372.85. Oil was off 0.08 cents to $42.16. Treasury yields were unchanged on the day, with the 10-year at 0.713% and the 2-year at 0.147%, but both were sharply higher the week from last Friday's close at NBSP 0.562% and 0.127% respectively. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. 2020 elections. Is Kamala Harris really running for CO President? Analysis http://ntvforex.com News ID BA63C4814 2020 8:43:22 p.m. Kamala Harris, former Vice President Biden's choice for running mate, is an accomplished national politician and was a candidate for the nomination herself. NBSP with 59% of likely voters saying it was probable that Biden's vice president would become the chief executive over the NBSP course of his term, she is guaranteed an outsized role in the campaign. Her candidacy and record as California Attorney General will be a focus of both campaigns, and her position as a rhetorical lightning NBSP rod will demand media coverage. NBSP join NTV Forex senior analysts Yohai Elam and Joseph Trevisani for an in-depth look at the vice presidential candidate and the current state of the campaign. NBSP Yohai Elam NBSP for a politics and statistics junkie like myself, 538's election forecast has been the event of the week. Yet the most significant event in American politics has been NBSP Democratic challenger Joe Biden's choice of Senator Kamala Harris as his running mate. NBSP do VPS have a significant impact on the campaign? Joseph Trevisani NBSP not usually. One consideration is, can they assist in the electoral vote? NBSP in this case that is not a consideration at all. NBSP Biden doesn't need help in California, the chance of Trump winning the state is less than zero. Yohai Elam NBSP I think geography doesn't play such an important role, but rather identity. NBSP Trump was going to win Indiana NBSP without Pence, NBSP but he got evangelist support with the pick, at least some Joseph Trevisani NBSP that is true. NBSP Biden made the choice difficult by promising early to choose a woman which became quickly an African American woman. NBSP Harris probably has the least negatives of the choices. NBSP her record as a prosecutor and California Attorney General will certainly not dissuade progressives for voting Democratic in the fall. Even if in the primaries NBSP she was shunned by progressives. Yohai Elam yet, that's one of her advantages. Most candidates go to the base in the primaries and to the center in the general election. NBSP party activists shape primaries. Joseph Trevisani NBSP It is interesting that the ticket is composed of two primary losers, NBSP essentially chosen by the Democratic establishment. Yohai Elam I think centrist Democrats took the lesson from Trump's primary victory, having only a plurality, not a majority. NBSP The GOP was unable to coalesce around a centrist Joseph Trevisani NBSP Yes, I agree. NBSP also without Biden, the nomination goes to Sanders. Yohai Elam Dems saw Sanders as a risk, and closed ranks around Biden. Joseph Trevisani NBSP Exactly Yohai Elam The left seems to accept Harris now despite rejecting her beforehand, but perhaps cracks will appear among Sanders' supporters. NBSP with two moderates on the ticket, do you think some leftists will stay at home? Joseph Trevisani NBSP I don't see Sanders voters supporting Trump, not voting perhaps. NBSP Harris, judging by her past positions is not a moderate, she is a liberal, one of the most left-wing NBSP senators in Congress. Yohai Elam in a close election which could happen at some point every absence could make a difference. She is considered tough on crime as a prosecutor, NBSP, and business-friendly to big tech in California. Joseph Trevisani NBSP Yes, that is certainly true. But a list of the policies she supports or has supported, banning private health insurance, ending all restrictions on government funding of abortions, ending fossil fuels in a decade, NBSP gun confiscation, are all far from the mainstream of U.S. politics, even if popular in New York and California. NBSP She will undoubtedly hedge and deny during the campaign, but the video clips are available for the Trump campaign to use and they will. Yohai Elam The Trump campaign seemed ready with ads, she was the most probable pick. NBSP I think that the country is moving toward more health support the same it did with other topics such as gay marriage. NBSP Democrats had a wave in 2018 due to health. Joseph Trevisani NBSP there is also her record as attorney NBSP General in California with its aggressive jail record, something the Trump campaign will use for the African American vote. Yohai Elam I think that appealing to African Americans is a lost cause for Trump. NBSP he cannot tweet law and order and calling for sending the military and appeal to blacks. NBSP the Biden campaign has a long list of racists comments from Trump. Joseph Trevisani NBSP yes, but so does the Trump campaign from Biden. Yohai Elam I don't think it's balanced though, and Biden is able to acknowledge mistakes and apologize. NBSP Trump never admits a mistake, just denies that, like the promise to get 5 million coronavirus tests per day. Joseph Trevisani NBSP I disagree, crime impacts Black American far more than anyone else. NBSP I have no doubt that the black urban resident understands this. Yohai Elam promise, then deny. He said that all on tape. NBSP taking away guns would help reduce the impact of crime. Joseph Trevisani NBSP I don't think the competition between who said what or lied is going to have much traction. Yohai Elam all politicians lie or at least mislead, but Trump is big league. Joseph Trevisani NBSP exactly, it is, as computer folks say, a feature, not a bug. Yohai Elam I think that Harris will use her prosecutor skills to lay the arguments against Trump, and he will say something racist against her, sooner than later. NBSP more powerful than a past quote. Joseph Trevisani NBSP so is Biden. The clips go back decades, which is why I don't think it will be a profitable avenue for either campaign. Yohai Elam again, Biden is able to explain why he changed his mind. NBSP Trump is unable to keep his Twitter feed silent. Joseph Trevisani NBSP provided he campaigns. Yohai Elam he already said Harris is nasty. NBSP and that housewives will vote for him. Joseph Trevisani NBSP I would venture to say he is right. Yohai Elam women who speak bad, housewives that like Trump, good. Nasty coming from Trump's mouth. NBSP will not convince women to vote for him, and Harris can trigger more comments like that from him, especially via Twitter. NBSP editado NBSP Joseph Trevisani NBSP I don't think Trump's character is much of an issue, it is 5 years old now. Everyone knows who and what he is. Yohai Elam we know all about him, but those watching the evening news see little of his worst behavior. Joseph Trevisani NBSP yes, and the undecided voters, the persuadable ones, tend NBSP to consider police's. Yohai Elam his campaign will try to smooth things, that's what campaigns are for, but he's not disciplined, and she could push him off message. Joseph Trevisani NBSP that is true, Trump is a deck of wild cards all on his own. Yohai Elam yet, not hard to irritate him, with his thin skin, and perhaps Harris is the best to do so. Joseph Trevisani NBSP still, policies will be considered in the Democratic platform, and the Harris record is far to the left of the U.S. electorate, especially in the states Biden needs to win. Harris is also a bit off-putting in her public persona, hence her dismal primary record. Yohai Elam being against guns makes Georgia and North Carolina hard to win. Joseph Trevisani NBSP another consideration is the chance NBSP of Biden finishing his term. NBSP in a real sense, it is a Harris-Biden ticket, and the Trump campaign will play that with a record of her extreme leftist policies. Yohai Elam Biden is only 3 years older than Trump, but Democrats' approach to health care, just being more compassionate on the topic in general and especially in coronavirus times, NBSP so being more to the left on health could be an advantage, and NBSP being different from Republicans. Joseph Trevisani NBSP and in NIS too, surprisingly enough. NBSP the urban unrest, riots, and crime and the unwillingness of any Democratic politician to condemn it, including Biden and Harris, is potent. NBSP gun sales are through the roof, in New York State, also. Yohai Elam yet, that's something I will never understand about America. It's more than the NRA lobby. NBSP crime is generally in a long-term downtrend in the US, NBSP and less prevalent in the suburbs. NBSP I don't think crime is number 3 on 4 on the list. NBSP Coronavirus is number 1, Race Relations number 2. Joseph Trevisani NBSP I disagree. Gun ownership is not an NRA-created issue. Yohai Elam yet, more than NRA, it is embedded in American culture. Joseph Trevisani NBSP crime had been on a long-term trend down, it reversed about 2 years ago and has skyrocketed in cities in the past 6 months. Yohai Elam I think people in cities will still lean toward the Democrats, and those in the suburbs will not rank crime as a top topic. Joseph Trevisani NBSP it will be an issue because it is so recent, disturbing, and one-sided politically. NBSP the cities where it is soaring are all Democratic controlled. NBSP again, a classic campaign issue for Republicans. And NBSP yes, the cities will vote Democratic, and even if the vote is less, NBSP they are in no danger of losing. It is the impact in the variable places, like suburbs, that is important. Yohai Elam so crime was on the decline. Trump said he will fix this American carnage, and crime is rising under his presidency. Joseph Trevisani NBSP in Democratic-controlled cities and states who control the legal machinery in toto. Yohai Elam perhaps crime will be easier to put on Democrats, but Trump's blaming of Obama for everything has run its course. That may blur Republicans' message on crime. Joseph Trevisani NBSP there is very little federal impact on crime. It is totally a state and locality issue. Almost all criminal law is state. Yohai Elam NBSP looks like Republicans already managed to convince the public that crime is an issue even though it's not. NBSP so Republicans will talk about crime and Democrats about Trump's total failure with coronavirus. Joseph Trevisani NBSP even if true, it won't matter. What will tell is perception, and the perception is that urban crime has soared. In cities it is accurate. NBSP murder rates, shooting, robbery in the 25 largest cities have increased dramatically. And yes, NBSP I think you are right. The Democrats will blame Trump for the virus. Yohai Elam NBSP the world's richest and most prepared country never contained the first wave. NBSP Trump has been dismissing all the time, failing to give an example with masks, encouraging states to ignore the White House's own reopening guidelines, and showing he is unaware of statistics in that Axios interview. Joseph Trevisani NBSP the success of that attack will depend on the virus status in the fall. Yohai Elam with around 166,000 dead and many more with long-term repercussions of the disease, I think the damage is done. NBSP polls have been stable of late. NBSP hardly any correction for Trump. Joseph Trevisani NBSP infection rates, the second wave is rising in many countries worldwide, so the US experience is typical. But back to Harris. NBSP she is essentially a president in waiting. I think the polling is 55%. Do not expect Biden to finish his first term. Yohai Elam it's the US and South America together, also where gun violence is higher. NBSP, and the previous one quote was the Financial Times, both trustworthy news sources. Joseph Trevisani NBSP not to me. I am afraid Yohai Elam where there is a separation of opinion and news. Joseph Trevisani NBSP at least not on Trump related topics. Yohai Elam it's a virus that affects all the world, NBSP all Americans, and NBSP not a Trump issue. Not everything is around Trump. Maybe for him it is. Joseph Trevisani NBSP at any rate. Back to Harris. NBSP I think she will get far more attention, both from the media and the voters, for 2 reasons. Yohai Elam you'll see the same maps on every website. NBSP I can agree she'll get attention. NBSP already getting comments that may backfire. Joseph Trevisani NBSP first, she is likely to be far more accessible than Biden, and 2, voters already view her as a more than a possible president. Yohai Elam Biden said he'll be a bridge to the new generation, NBSP, but if Trump can continue serving, so can Biden. Joseph Trevisani NBSP rather an admission of what everyone suspects. NBSP it is an unusual position for a presidential campaign. I wonder how it will play with voters. NBSP that the Democrats choose a candidate that will not finish his term. Yohai Elam I don't see why he will not finish his term. NBSP at least in comparison to Trump. Joseph Trevisani NBSP there was no shortage of younger more able candidates. Harris herself is or was one. Yohai Elam the same goes for Republicans. maybe they will still ditch Trump, or perhaps sacrifice Pence. Joseph Trevisani, NBSP. I am speaking of the public perception of Biden. No one expects Trump not to finish if elected. Yohai Elam voters believe Trump lacks the key traits for the Oval Office. Less than half think he has the mental soundness 43%, intelligence 42%, and judgment 40% to serve effectively as president, according to Fox News. NBSP regime mouthpiece like China's Global Times. Joseph Trevisani, NBSP. Yes, but all those statistics are at about the percentage who have steadily disapproved of Trump that hasn't changed in 5 years. Yohai Elam. He won by the thinnest of margins, and Democrats won in 2018. NBSP. It doesn't take much to see him lose unless he rejects the election results. Joseph Trevisani, NBSP. All true. The election was historically close in 2016. NBSP. Reject the election results. NBSP. Do you NBSP mean to refuse to leave the office? Yohai Elam. Yes. He refused to say he LOL accept the election results. NBSP. In an interview with Wallace of Fox News. Joseph Trevisani, NBSP. After 5 years, the Democrats still don't understand when they are being trolled. The NBSP Pence-Harris debates will have much more than NBSP the normal interest. NBSP. Do you think they could have an outsize impact? Yohai Elam. I think Pence is irrelevant, and that Harris could troll Trump. Joseph Trevisani, NBSP. Just for the record, I have zero concern that Trump will not leave the office if he loses. Yohai Elam. Triggering demeaning responses from him and putting him on the back foot. NBSP. I cannot dismiss a scenario in which the results are close on election night and that they move toward Biden as the slow count of mail-in ballots proceeds. NBSP. That blue shift happened in 2018. Joseph Trevisani, NBSP. Yes, I agree. NBSP. Harris is not a terribly likable politician, hence her failure in the primaries, but a few comments from Trump could change that. Yohai Elam. And I cannot rule out that Trump will say that is a fraud. NBSP. Trump wants to deny the U.S. Post Office funds to process the votes quickly. He NBSP said that the blue wave shifted from 26 to 41 in 2018, NBSP. As time passed by, especially with slow counting in California. NBSP. Say that happens in a swing state, showing a narrow Trump victory after a few hours but showing a Biden victory after a few weeks. Joseph Trevisani, NBSP. California permits post-election ballot harvesting. Yohai Elam. A responsible politician would say too close to call, let us wait for the full results. Trump is a sore loser. NBSP. I hope you are right and it's a California case. NBSP. Currently, Biden has a significant but not insurmountable lead. That means that he could win by a landslide or that the Trump could narrowly win like in 2016. Joseph Trevisani, NBSP. The election will not turn on California results. Yohai Elam. But if the vote is close in Florida, NBSP. or Pennsylvania, NBSP. Hopefully, you're right and I'm wrong. Trump concedes defeat if he loses and the transition is orderly. Joseph Trevisani, NBSP. I agree. NBSP. I hope so as well, though my concerns are less. NBSP. Final consideration. Do you think Harris will have a large impact on the campaign and the election? Yohai Elam. I think she will have an outsized impact in comparison to previous VPs. Joseph Trevisani, NBSP. We agree. It does happen. Yohai Elam. But eventually, it's a referendum on the incumbent, then a test of the challenger, then all the rest. And yes, nice to agree ahead of the weekend. NBSP. Harris is more significant than Pence and Kaine. Those two are easy. Joseph Trevisani, NBSP. I agree here also. The election will be, as it almost always is, and should be a judgment on the incumbent. Yohai Elam. Yep, but I think we'll find ourselves mentioning Harris again, perhaps more than once, in the run-up to the vote. NBSP. 81 days to go. Joseph Trevisani, NBSP. We will have several conversations about Harris, I think. NBSP. She is an interesting topic. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Ripple price analysis. XRP/USD struggles to build on recent gains, stays calm near $0.3. http://ntvforex.com news ID 47D41. 19 minutes ago, XRP/USD lost its traction after posting gains for 2 straight days. Above $0.3250, Ripple could target 2020 highs near $0.3460. XRP/USD could stage a technical correction before the next leg up. Following the impressive rally witnessed in the last week of July, Ripple XRP/USD staged a deep correction to the Fibonacci 38.2% retracement level and found support there. After posting strong gains and rising nearly 6% in the last 2 days, however, XRP/USD struggled to preserve its bullish momentum in choppy weekend trading and was last seen flat on the day near 30 cents. XRP/USD technical outlook with a weekly close above $0.2940 Fibonacci 23.6% retracement of the latest rally, the pair could target $0.3250 and $0.3460 2020 high. However, the daily RSI indicator is already showing overbought conditions, suggesting there could be a pullback before the pair turns north. On the downside, nbsp $0.2940 Fibonacci 23.6% retracement could be seen as the initial support ahead of $0.2820 20-day SMA and $0.2745 Fibonacci 38.2% retracement. Additional levels to watch for XRP/USD overview today: last price $0.2998, today daily change $0.0005, today daily change percent %0.17, today daily open $0.3003, nbsp trends daily SMA 20 0.2774, daily SMA 50 0.2262, daily SMA 100 0.2123, daily SMA 200 0.2144, nbsp levels: previous daily high 0.3075, previous daily low 0.2901, previous weekly high 0.3075, previous weekly low 0.2687, previous monthly high 0.2608, previous monthly low 0.1729, daily Fibonacci 38.2% 0.3009, daily Fibonacci 61.8% 0.2968, daily pivot point S1 0.2911, daily pivot point S2 0.2819, daily pivot point S3 0.2736, daily pivot point R1 0.3085, daily pivot point R2 0.3167, daily pivot point R3 0.3259. nbsp Ripple chart daily. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Bitcoin price analysis. BTC/USD closes in on $12,000 after Friday's consolidation. ntvforex.com news ID 604CA6. 38 minutes ago, Bitcoin is posting modest daily gains on Saturday. A weekly close above $12,000 could open the door for further gains. Daily RSI stays a little below the overbought area. After climbing above $12,000 for the first time in nearly a year, Bitcoin BTC/USD formed a consolidation channel and has been fluctuating in that channel for the past 2 weeks. Following a drop to the lower range of that channel near $11,000, BTC/USD staged a rebound and is now, once again, approaching $12,000. As of writing, Bitcoin was up 1.35% on a daily basis at $11,940. BTC/USD technical outlook on the daily chart: the relative strength index is staying within a touching distance of 70, suggesting that the pair is likely to become overbought when it reaches the 12-month high it set at $12,112 on August 2. However, if Bitcoin closes the week above $12,000, buyers could look to remain in control of the price action even if the pair stages a technical correction. Above $12,100, $12,325 August 6, 2019, high aligns as the initial resistance ahead of $13,195 July 10, 2019, high. On the downside, $11,500 20-day SMA is the first support before $11,000 lower limit of 2-week-old range. Fibonacci 23.6% retracement of July 24, August 2nd rally. NBSP additional levels to watch for BTC USD overview today. Last price 11,901.43 today. Daily change 123.19 today. Daily change percent 1.05 today. Daily open 11,778.24 NBSP trends. Daily SMA 20 11,392.45 daily SMA 50 10,109.71 daily SMA 1009 9,774.8 daily SMA 200 8,890.4 NBSP levels. Previous daily high 11,863.17 previous daily low 11,654.35 previous weekly high 12,083.95 previous weekly low 11,125.12 previous monthly high 11,457.43 previous monthly low 8,907.52 daily Fibonacci 38.2% 11,734.12 daily Fibonacci 61.8% 11,783.4 daily pivot point S1 11,667.34 daily pivot point S2 11,556.44 daily pivot point S3 11,458.52 daily pivot point R1 11,876.16 daily pivot point R2 11,974.07 daily pivot point R3 12,084.97 NBSP BTC USD daily chart. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. USD JPY Weekly Forecast Yen Bucks The Trend Analysis http://ntvforex.com News ID 1336785152023 am USD JPY gains on the week with improved US statistics. Japanese data for July weakens economic outlook and yen. US Treasury yields rise supporting USD JPY. Japanese and US statistics headed in opposite directions. NBSP making the USD JPY the only major pair to see dollar improvement this week. The Echo Watchers survey for current Japanese conditions, a NBSP production of the Cabinet Office that follows regional economic trends, came in at 41.1 for July, considerably under the 46.6 forecast though up from Junia's 38.8 score. NBSP The same survey for the immediate economic outlook was even more disappointing, registering 36 on a 48.8 prediction and a drop from the 44 reading in June. NBSP The Tuesday release saw the USD JPY open at 105.97 and close at 106.49, the largest gain of the week. In the US, initial jobless claims fell to 0.963 million in the first week of August, the lowest of the COVID era. Retail sales rose 1.2% in July for the third positive month in a row. NBSP This brought the margin of retail sales recovery over the pandemic collapse to 4.89% overall or 1.63% monthly for May through July. NBSP In a normal economy that would be considered a sign of an excellent consumer sector. The retail sales control group rose 1.4% on the month, beating the 0.8% forecast. NBSP sales in June were revised higher for all three groups, with the headline number adding 0.9% to 8.4%, the control group 0.4% to 6% and the ex-autos number 1% to 8.3%. Treasury yields rose on the US data, with the 10-year adding 14 points on the week to 0.709% and the 2-year gaining 2 points to 0.149%. NBSP USD JPY outlook. The rise in USD JPY from 105.92 to 106.60 this week was not as uncharacteristic as it might seem. Though the dollar fell against all the other majors, the declines were small. NBSP The euro rose 54 points from the 1.1788 open on Monday to the 1.1842 close on Friday. The sterling gained 34 points ending at 1.3086, the Aussie 9 points to 0.7170. NBSP The USD CAD was the biggest loser, dropping from 1.3384 to 1.3260. Technically, the USD JPY crossed the 106.00 and 106.50 resistance lines this week, and finishing at 106.60 is poised below three more at 106.80 and 107.00 and 107.30. The USD weakness over the past month has been based on the supposed economic impact of the second wave of COVID cases in a number of large U.S. states. From the data so far, jobless claims, non-farm payrolls and retail sales, it appears the slowdown was minimal if at all. NBSP with a similar rise in positive diagnoses occurring in many European countries and Australia and New Zealand, the economic concern may soon be shifting back to the other side of the dollar pairs. NBSP as the data divergence continues, expect the dollar to make further gains. Japan statistics August 10th August 14th Monday bank lending rose 6.3% on the year in July on a 6.5% forecast and June as 6.2%. Tuesday Echo Watchers outlook registered 36 in July, much worse than the 48.2 forecast and the prior reading of 44. The current survey scored 41.1 on a 46.6 prediction and previous of 38.8. Wednesday Producer Price Index for July rose 0.6%, double the 0.3% estimate and the same as in June. Annual PPI fell 0.9%, less than the 1.1% forecast and June's 1.6% decline. Friday the Tertiary Index, which tracks the service sector, rose 7.9% in June after falling 2.9% in May. NTV Forex US statistics August 10th August 14th Tuesday producer prices rose 0.6% in July, twice the forecast, after falling 0.2% in June. NBSP annual prices fell 0.4% in July, less than the 0.7% in June's 0.8% drop. Core PPI rose 0.5% on a 0.1% forecast and 0.3% drop in June. Annual core PPI rose 0.3% on a flat forecast and 0.1% gain in June. Wednesday CPI rose 0.6% in July, the same as in June and twice the 0.3% predictions. Annual prices gained 1%, on a 0.8% estimate and a 0.6% rise in June. Core CPI rose 0.6% in July, 3 times the estimate and the June result. Annual core CPI gained 1.6% on a 1.1% prediction and a 1.2% release for June. NBSP Thursday initial jobless claims in for August 7 rose 0.963 million, far less than the 1.120 prediction and the prior week's 1.191 million. Continuing claims fell to 15.486 million in the July 31st week, far less than the 15.898 million forecast and the 16.09 million the previous week. Friday retail sales rose 1.2% in July, missing the 1.9% forecast. The June figure was revised to 8.4% from 7.5%. Sales ex autos climbed 1.9% on a 1.3% estimate. June's result was revised to 8.3% from 7.3%. NBSP the control group rose 1.4%, on an 0.8% projection. The June figure was adjusted to 6% from 5.6%. Industrial production added 3% in July as in June. The forecast was flat. Capacity utilization rose to 70.6%, ahead of the 70.3% forecast and a large move from June's 68.5% score. Non-farm productivity rose 7.3% in the second quarter, almost 5 times the 1.5% forecast following the 0.3% drop in the first quarter. It was the largest gain in 11 years. Michigan Consumer Sentiment's preliminary reading edged to 72.8 in August from 72.5 in July. The forecast was 72. NTV Forex Japan Statistics August 17 August 21 NTV Forex US Statistics August 17 August 21 NTV Forex USD JPY Technical Outlook. The NBSP steady move higher brought the USD JPY above 50 from Tuesday on, the first sustained NBSP move into the upper half of the band since early June. NBSP the 21-day average has not recovered from the late July swoon and at 106.14 NBSP offers support to the 106.00 line. The NBSP 100-day at 107.22 fronts the 107.30 resistance and the 200-day at 108.12 adds weight to the resistance at 108.00. Resistance lines are more numerous and closely spaced due to the 4 months from late March NBSP to late July when 108.50 to 106.00 defined the range. Except for the recent drop below 106.00 from July 27 to August 11, the prior visit south of 106.00 was NBSP in the panic of early March. NBSP resistance 107.00, 107.30, 107.60, 107.80, 108.00, 108.50 support 106.50, 106.00, 105.50, 104.75, 104 US dollars JPY sentiment poll. NBSP 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 NBSP. The near forecast NBSP is within range with just the resistance at 107.00 to cross, making it a likely early week event. The lack of conviction in the 1-month and the 1-quarter views is striking given the better than expected U.S. statistics this week and the distinct possibility that the improvement in jobless claims will continue and prospective sales gains in the housing market with mortgage rates at record lows. NBSP NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Gold price analysis. XAU USD snapped 9-week winning streak, closed below $1,950. http ntvforex.com. News ID 541DC 4 minutes ago by Aaron Sengezer. Gold erased more than 4% last week and closed below $1,950. Correction could extend to $1,850 area if bearish pressure remains intact. NBSP $2,000 psychological resistance will be a key level to watch. After closing the previous 9 weeks in the positive territory, the troy ounce of precious metal finally staged a deep correction and lost 4.45%, or nearly $90, last week. Profit-taking and improving market sentiment throughout the week made it difficult for gold to find demand. NBSP Gold Technical Outlook. Following the sharp drop witnessed during the first half of the week, XAU USD rose modestly on Thursday but failed to close above the 20-day SMA on Friday. On the downside, $1,930 Fibonacci 23.6% retracement of March-August uptrend could be seen as the first support ahead of $1,860 50 area 50-day SMA, Fibonacci 38.2% NBSP retracement, August 12th low. NBSP on the flip side, $2,000 psychological level aligns as a key resistance. With a daily close above that level, XAU USD could again target record highs it set at $2,075 earlier in the month. However, unless there is a fundamental driver, such as a drastic shift in market sentiment, the pair could struggle to push higher as longer-term charts continue to show extreme overbought conditions. Gold chart daily additional levels to watch for XAU/USD overview today. Last price 1944.6 today. Daily change 0.00 today. Daily change percent 0.00 today. Daily open 1944.6 nbsp trends. Daily SMA 20 1950.58 daily SMA 50 1839.68 daily SMA 100 1768.58 daily SMA 20 1654.32 nbsp levels. Previous daily high 1962.3, previous daily low 1932.46, previous weekly high 2049.96, previous weekly low 1863.24, previous monthly high 1984.8, previous monthly low 1757.7, daily Fibonacci 38.2% 1943.86, daily Fibonacci 61.8% 1950.9. Daily pivot point S1 1930.61, daily pivot point S2 1916.61, daily pivot point S3 1900.77, daily pivot point R1 1960.45, daily pivot point R2 1976.29, daily pivot point R3 1990.29. NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Ethereum price analysis. ETH/USD consolidates weekly gains near $440. http://ntvforex.com news ID 19F3481627 GMT. ETH/USD rose impressively in the second half of the week. Ethereum seems to have gone into a consolidation on Saturday. Daily RSI stays above 70, pointing out to a technical correction in near term. Ethereum ETH/USD staged an impressive rally from Wednesday and gained nearly 15% in the previous 3 days to touch its highest level in more than 2 years at $445 on Friday. With the trading action in the cryptocurrency market turning subdued on Saturday, Ethereum is consolidating its gains and was last seen losing 0.4% on the day at $437. Ethereum technical outlook. During Thursday's sharp upsurge, the RSI indicator on the daily chart rose above 70 and stayed there as Ethereum continued to add to its gains on Friday. In the near term, ETH/USD could make a technical correction before trying to renew its 2-year highs. On the downside, $427 daily low aligns as the initial support before $400 psychological level and $380 20-day SMA. Resistances are located at $445 2-year high, $480 July 2018 static resistance and $500 psychological level. Ethereum daily chart. Additional levels to consider. ETH/USD overview today. Last price 437.52 today. Daily change 1.14 today. Daily change percent 0.26 today. Daily open 438.66 nbsp trends. Daily SMA 20 373.81, daily SMA 50 294.12, daily SMA 100 258.38, daily SMA 200 224.24 nbsp levels. Previous daily high 444.78, previous daily low 417.91, previous weekly high 444.78, previous weekly low 365.72, previous monthly high 349.55, previous monthly low 223.32, daily Fibonacci 38.2% 434.51, daily Fibonacci 61.8% 428.17 daily. Pivot point S1 422.78 daily, pivot point S2 406.91 daily, pivot point S3 395.91 daily, pivot point R1 449.65 daily, pivot point R2 460.65 daily, pivot point R3 476.52 nbsp. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Bitcoin price analysts BTC USD struggles to rise above $12,000 on Saturday. ntvforex.com news ID 54A348167 GMT. Bitcoin gained traction after dropping to $11,700 area. Bullish momentum could gather strength with a weekly close above $12,000. Bitcoin BTC USD fluctuated in a tight range a little below $12,000 during the first half of the day, but came under modest bearish pressure and dropped to a daily low of $11,690. Nevertheless, bulls easily retook the control of the price action, and BTC USD was last seen gaining 0.85% on a daily basis at $11,880. Nevertheless, a decisive move above the critical $12,000 area looks unlikely in choppy weekend trading. BTC USD technical outlook: the RSI indicator on the daily stays very close to 70, suggesting that BTC USD could become technically overbought if it tries to break above $12,000 before making a technical correction. On the upside, NBSP $12,325 August 6, 2019, high could be seen as the next target ahead of $13,195 July 10, 2019, high. Supports, on the other hand, are located at $11,700 daily low, NBSP $11,500 20-day SMA, and $11,000 lower limit of the 2-week-old range. NBSP Fibonacci NBSP 23.6% retracement of July 24 August 2 rally. NBSP Bitcoin daily chart: additional levels to watch for BTC USD overview today. Last price 11,860.71 today, daily change 82.47 today, daily change percent 0.70 today, daily open 11,778.24 NBSP trends daily SMA 20 11,392.45 daily SMA 50 10,109.71 daily SMA 100 9774.8 daily SMA 200 8890.4 NBSP levels: previous daily high 11,863.17, previous daily low 11,654.35, previous weekly high 12,083.95, previous weekly low 11,125.12, previous monthly high 11,457.43, previous monthly low 8,907.52 daily Fibonacci 38.2% 11,734.12 daily Fibonacci 61.8% 11,783.4 daily pivot point S1 11,667.34 daily pivot point S2 11,556.44 daily pivot point S3 11,458.52 daily pivot point R1 11,876.16 daily pivot point R2 11,974.07 daily pivot point R3 12,084.97 NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Bitcoin price analysis: BTC USD extends sideways grind after failed attempt to take $12,000 http://ntvforex.com news ID 0D4687. 2 minutes ago Bitcoin closed with modest gains below $12,000 on Saturday. BTC/USD remains on track to end week in positive territory. $12,325 aligns as the next target on the upside. Bitcoin BTC/USD tested $12,000 on Saturday but failed to gather enough momentum to break above that critical level and closed with a daily gain of 0.7% at $11,688. With the trading action remain subdued on Sunday, BTC/USD stays unchanged on a daily basis. Nevertheless, the pair remains on track to close the fourth straight week in the positive territory. Bitcoin technical outlook: Saturday's movements left BTC/USD near-term outlook unchanged. The relative strength index RSI on the daily chart continues to hover a little below the overbought threshold. Additionally, price continues to fluctuate between the 12-month high it set $12,135 in early August and the Fibonacci 23.6% retracement of the latest upsurge. NBSP: if the pair manages to renew its highest level since August of 2019 above $12,135, it could target NBSP $12,325 August 6, 2019, high could end $13,195 July 10, 2019, high. On the downside, NBSP $11,700 August 15 low, $11,500 20-day SMA and $11,000 lower limit of the 2-week-old range, Fibonacci 23.6% retracement of July 24 August 2 rally. NBSP Bitcoin chart daily NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Ripple price analysis: XRP/USD stays directionless near $0.30. http://ntvforex.com news ID 39684C 1 minutes ago. Ripple continues to move sideways near 30 cents for second straight day. XRP/USD remains on track to post highest weekly close in nearly a year. After rising to its highest level since February at $0.3262 earlier in the month, Ripple XRP/USD staged a correction and seems to have found support near 27 cents. Following that drop, Ripple has gone into a consolidation phase and continues to have a tough time making a decisive move in either direction. On Saturday, XRP/USD closed the VAR virtually unchanged near 30 cents and continue to trade near that level on Sunday. Ripple technical outlook: if Ripple manages to stay above $0.2940 Fibonacci 23.6% retracement of the latest rally at the end of the week, it could try to stretch higher toward NBSP $0.3185 February 16 high NBSP and $0.3460 2020 high. On the downside, supports are located at NBSP $0.2940, $0.2820 20-day SMA and $0.2745 Fibonacci 38.2% retracement. Meanwhile, the daily RSI is now slightly below 70 but the downslope is relatively soft, suggesting that XRP/USD hasn't yet made a convincing correction after becoming technically overbought. Ripple chart daily. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Gold next week's key macroeconomic events to keep an eye on. ntvforex.com news ID 7A08282 2 minutes ago by Aaron Sengezer. The troy ounce of the precious metal closed the week in the negative territory for the first time since early June and lost nearly $90 to $1,944. An overdue technical correction, profit-taking and relatively upbeat market mood made it difficult for gold to extend its rally. NBSP coming up next week. The first half of the week will be relatively eventless. Japan will release its second quarter gross domestic product (GDP) and industrial production data on Monday. A more severe contraction in Japan's economic activity than expected could cause investors to stay cautious and help gold gather strength. On Wednesday, the FOMC will release the minutes of its July meeting. During the press conference, FOMC Chairman Jerome Powell refrained from making any changes to the forward guidance or the near-term policy outlook. The Fed is largely expected to wait until it finishes its policy review in September before deciding on its next move. On Thursday, weekly initial jobless claims data from the U.S. will be watched closely by the market participants. The latest report published by the U.S. Department of Labor showed that there were 963,000 applications for unemployment benefits, first reading below 1 million since March. If this number continues to decline, it could have a positive impact on market sentiment and hurt the demand for the safe haven gold. NBSP on Friday, the IHS market will release its preliminary manufacturing and services PMI data for Germany, the Euro area and the United States. Investors expect economic activity in the U.S. manufacturing sector to continue to expand in August. However, if the PMI drops below amid the resurgence of the coronavirus and shows a contraction, it could trigger a fresh wave of flight to safety and provide a boost to the precious metal. Economic calendar. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. EUR/USD forecast losing bullish momentum, but far from bearish analysis. http://ntvforex.com News ID D29B9B816 2020 12:54:57 p.m. EUR/USD current price 1.1842. The second estimate of the EU Q2 GDP matched the preliminary estimate at 12.1%. U.S. retail sales improved by less than anticipated in July, up a modest 1.2%. The EUR/USD bullish potential receded but bears nowhere to be found. The EUR/USD pair finished a seventh consecutive week with gains in the 1.1840 price zone, advancing on Friday on the back of persistent dollar-S weakness and mixed U.S. data. The greenback has been on the back foot amid mounting tensions with China and the lack of progress among congressmen over a stimulus package. In fact, the Congress has left for a month-long recess on Thursday, which only escalates concerns about the U.S. economy. As for tensions with China, news on Friday indicated that a review of the trade deal that was supposed to take place over the weekend had been postponed without any new date scheduled. By the end of the week, the EU reported the second estimate of Q2 GDP, which matched the preliminary estimate at 12.1%, while in the same 3 months to June, the EU employment change dropped 2.8%, worse than anticipated. In the U.S., the headline reading of July retail sales missed expectations, as sales were up by 1.2% in the month vs the 1.9% expected. Sales ex-autos, however, improved to 1.9%, while retail sales control group surged 1.4%, beating the expected 0.8%. Finally, the preliminary estimate of the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index for August resulted at 72.8 from 72.5 in July. NBSP. The news helped in keeping equities afloat, which in turn put a cap to the dollar-S gains. The macroeconomic calendar will be quite light for these economies on Monday. EUR/USD short-term technical outlook. The daily chart of the EUR/USD pair shows that it has held above the 23.6% retracement of its July-August rally at 1.1740, also above a firmly bullish 20 DMA, which converges with the mentioned Fibonacci level. The momentum indicator, however, heads firmly lower within positive levels, nearing its 100 line. The RSI has retreated from its recent highs and is stable at around 67, suggesting the pair may soon face a corrective decline. In the shorter term, the 4-hour chart indicates decreasing buying interest but is far from suggesting an upcoming decline. The pair is holding above bullish moving averages, but technical indicators turn south within positive levels. Support levels 1.1830, 1.1790, 1.1740. Resistance levels 1.1870. January 1915 January 1950 View live chart for the Euro USD nbsp. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. USD JPY forecast risk of a bearish extension once below 106.35. Analysis http://ntvforex.com. News ID 7C022A816202012 58:56 p.m. USD JPY NBSP current price 106.60. Rising U.S. Treasury yields underpinned USD JPY in spite of the broad dollar-s weakness. Japan's Q2 gross domestic product expected to have fallen a record 27.2%. USD JPY at risk of falling further after being unable to surpass the 107.00 level. The USD JPY pair advanced these days, despite the broad dollar-s weakness, amid a substantial recovery in U.S. Treasury yields. The pair surged to 107.04 midweek, its highest since this August, to settle around 106.60. The pair fell in the last trading day of the week after it failed to take the 107.00 area for a third consecutive day. Equities traded with a soft tone, with Wall Street ending mixed yet little changed on a daily basis. As per Treasury yields, they remained flat amid mixed U.S. economic data. The JPY was also underpinned by Japanese data, as the tertiary industry index recovered to 7.9% in June from 2.9% in the previous month. During the upcoming Asian session, the country will publish the preliminary estimate of Q2 GDP, with the economy seen contracting a record 27.2% in the 3 months to June, down from 2.2% in Q1. The country will also publish June industrial production, previously at 17.7% YoY, and capacity utilization, previously at 11.6% MOM. USD JPY short-term technical outlook. The daily chart for the USD JPY pair shows that its weekly rally stalled a few pips below a directionless 100 DMA, but it has spent most of it above a bearish 20 DMA. The momentum indicator in the mentioned time frame advanced within positive levels, maintaining its bullish slope, while the RSI is also above its midline, but has already turned south. In the 4-hour chart, the pair broke below its 20 and 200 SMA, while technical indicators crossed their midlines into negative levels before turning flat. The risk of a bearish extension will likely increase on a break below 106.35, the 23.6% retracement of the latest daily advance. Support levels 106.35, 106.00, 105.60. Resistance levels 107.00, 107.45, 107.90. NBSP View live chart for the USD JPY NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. GBP USD forecast treble in the UK caps sterling's bullish potential. Analysis http://ntvforex.com. News ID BF0D8A816202012 56:48 p.m. GBP USD current price 1.3086. UK economic downturn and lack of progress in Brexit negotiations undermine sterling. The number of new coronavirus cases in the UK has increased as the country eases restrictions. GBP USD could turn bearish on a break below a critical static support level at 1.2980. The GBP USD pair has closed a second consecutive week little changed in the 1.3080 price zone, unable to attract speculative interest. A depressed dollar was not enough to push the pair higher, as concerns about the UK's future trade relationship with the EU limited sterling's demand. Furthermore, negotiations between the UK and Japan came to a halt this week, as the UK pretends to have better trade conditions than those it had as part of the EU. Another factor weighing on the UK currency was the terrible consequence of the coronavirus-related lockdown, as the local economy contracted a record 20.4% in the second quarter of the year. The government is struggling with its reopening schedule, with PM Johnson pledging for schools to return next month. Meanwhile, the UK has moved on with easing restrictive measures on Saturday, allowing some indoor activity, including wedding receptions for up to 30 guests. However, the kingdom has reported over 1,000 new daily cases for 5 days in a row on Sunday. Uncertainty surrounding the upcoming developments help in keeping investors away from sterling. This Monday, the UK will publish the August Right-Move House Price Index, which usually passes unnoticed. GBP/USD short-term technical outlook. The GBP/USD pair has settled below 1.3100 for a third consecutive week, despite multiple attempts to recover the level. The daily chart indicates a neutral to bullish bias, as the pair is developing above a bullish 20 DMA, which advances above the larger ones, currently around 1.2970. Technical indicators are holding within positive levels, although with uneven strength, as the RSI advances near overbought readings while the momentum eases towards its midline. In the 4-hour chart, the price is a few pies above a mild bearish 20 SMA, as technical indicators ease within positive levels, skewing the risk to the downside without confirming it. A critical support level is 1.2980, with a break below it opening the doors for a steeper decline. Support levels 1.3030, 1.2980, 1.2940, resistance levels 1.3105, 1.3150, 1.3190. View live chart for the GBP/USD. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. AUD/USD forecast bulls on pause, reluctant to give up analysis. http://ntvforex.com. News ID FAC 1928162021 0146 p.m. AUD/USD current price 0.7170. Chinese July data missed the market's expectations, weighing on the Aussie. The number of coronavirus cases in Australia has continued to pick up. AUD/USD is unable to attract investors, confined to a tight range near this year high. The AUD/USD pair closed the week pretty much unchanged at 0.7170, holding on near its year high of 0.7242. The Australian currency was unable to take advantage of its rival's weakness, amid poor Chinese data released by the end of the week, and a continued increase in local coronavirus cases. China published last Friday its July industrial production, which came in at 4.8% below the 5.1% expected. Retail sales in the same period contracted 1.1% against a 0.1% advance expected. Meanwhile, equities had been unable to make relevant directional moves, while gold prices plunged these days, both putting another cap to the Aussie. Meanwhile, the latest coronavirus-related data shows that the number of daily cases picked up in the country, although most new infections continue to take place in Victoria. This Monday, Australia will publish the July HIA new home sales report, previously at 0.9%. AUD/USD short-term technical outlook. The daily chart for the AUD/USD pair shows that it holds a few pips above a mildly bullish 20 DMA, while the 100 DMA is crossing above the 200 DMA far below the shorter one. Technical indicators have stabilized, the momentum within neutral levels and the RSI at 59. The bullish potential receded, but there are no signs of a bearish movement ahead. In the shorter term, and according to the 4-hour chart, the pair is above converging 20 and 100 SMA, while technical indicators are easing within positive levels, in line with the longer-term perspective. Support levels 0.7160, 0.7110, 0.7070 nbsp resistance levels 0.7200, 0.7245, 0.7280 View live chart for the AUD/USD nbsp. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Forex today. Quiet start to a busy week. ntvforex.com news ID 0917551 minutes ago by NTV Forex team. Here is what you need to know on Monday, August 17. The dollar remained intrinsically weak, amid mixed U.S. data and news indicating that the U.S. Congress decided to take a month-long holiday without agreeing on a stimulus package. Major pairs, however, closed the week little changed and held within familiar levels. The USD-JPY pair was an exception, reaching a fresh August high on the back of resurgent U.S. government debt yields. Inflation and employment data released these days came in better than anticipated, fueling hopes of a sooner-than-expected U.S. economic comeback. The yield on the benchmark 10-year note peaked at 0.72% this week, to settle at 0.70%. On Friday, U.S. President nbsp Trump said in a press conference that he will not cut a deal with Democrats on the coronavirus relief bill because of the money they are seeking for cities and states. Congress members have left for a month-long holiday last Thursday. Tensions between the U.S. and China continue. On Friday, news showed that a review of the trade deal that was supposed to take place over the weekend had been postponed without any new date scheduled. Wall Street posted a modest advance, but summer doldrums took their toll on equities as the three major indexes remain within limited intraday ranges. Gold prices collapsed this past week after hitting all-time highs, to stabilize around $1,950 a troy ounce. The metal shed some ground on Friday but held around its new comfort zone. Crude oil prices, in the meantime, remained stable, with WTI ending the week at $42.10 a barrel. Japan is set to report early Monday its Q2 GDP, foreseen 27.2%. BTC/USD extends sideways grind after failed attempt to take $12,000. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Ethereum price analysis. ETH/USD stretches lower toward $420, still up more than 8% week. Light ntvforex.com news ID 2807D 4 minutes ago. Ethereum is falling for the second straight day on Sunday. ETH/USD remains on track to close fourth straight week in the positive territory. After reaching its highest level in more than 2 years near $445 on Friday, Ethereum ETH/USD has gone into a consolidation phase over the weekend. The pair lost 1.4% on Saturday and was last seen losing 2.3% on the day at $422.70. Despite this latest correction, Ethereum remains on track to close the fourth straight week in the positive territory and is up more than 8% since Monday. Ethereum technical outlook. The initial support for ETH/USD aligns at $412 daily low. Fibonacci 38.2% retracement of this week's upsurge ahead of $400 psychological level and $385 nbsp 20-day SMA. Resistances, on the other hand, could be seen at nbsp $445 2-year high, $480 July 2018 static resistance and $500 psychological level. Meanwhile, the RSI indicator on the daily chart still floats in the overbought territory, suggesting that the pair could have a difficult time gathering bullish momentum before stretching lower. Ethereum chart daily. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, Text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Bitcoin price analysis. BTC USD looks to register small weekly gains. ntvforex.com news ID CD51301 minutes ago. BTC USD is fluctuating in a tight range below $12,000. Bitcoin is up only 1.2% for the week after posting strong gains in previous 3 weeks. Bitcoin BTC USD continues to trade sideways below $12,000 on Sunday and is headed to post gains for the 4th straight week. However, after surging by 8%, 11%, and 5.5% in the previous 3 weeks, BTC USD is up only 1.2% this week, suggesting that investors may be waiting for a decisive break above $12,000 before adding to their long positions. Bitcoin technical outlook. On the daily chart, an ascending triangle seems to have formed with the upper limit sitting near $12,000. Since this formation is usually considered as a continuation pattern, a decisive break beyond that resistance could help Bitcoin push higher toward $12,325 August 6, 2019, high and $13,195 July 10, 2019, high. On the downside, supports align at NBSP $11,700 August 15 low, $11,500 20-day SMA and $11,000 lower limit of the 2-week-old range, Fibonacci 23.6% retracement of July 24 August 2 rally. NBSP Bitcoin chart daily. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors.